This lock is about to snap at the end.
Oh
Random.
no.
That's okay. That it happens when it thins out. Plus, your ends are the oldest.
Yeah.
Hi everyone.
Hi everyone.
Hey Jessica. Hey Mama Nora. How's it going? Tomorrow's a birthday party. Darn it. Ooh, I thought I was gonna relax all weekend. Dang it. Okay. Hey Elises. How's it
Hey.
going? She said, "Hey babe." I will. I really like this one. Such a sad ending.
Yeah. Yeah.
The ending was great. It pissed me off, but I love this one.
Hmm.
Same.
I
Same.
can see why this one won like all the awards that it won. Um, because she put her foot in it. Like she put her foot in it. I was feeling so many emotions. Mark, Larkin, Bancole, like all these characters made me feel so many emotions.
Man. I read this a couple of weeks ago, so it's been a little mini in my book brain of mine. But the ending is when and the epilogue. Are we talking about the epilogue? Or are we talking about the ending of the actual story? Because I do remember they were talking about taking Earthseed off of Earth,
Mm-hmm.
and then the destiny of Earthseed is to take root among the stars. After all,
Mm-hmm.
filled with preservation poison, boxed up at a great expense. Blah 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 blah. Anyways, but the reunion was it for me, where I was like,
It
man,
was so it was so sad.
it really was. I felt so many emotions. Like I really enjoyed that we actually get to see Earthseed in the evolution of it and how it has grown from 12 people to then
Yeah.
over 60, and then things start to pop off, and then next thing you know, like she's able to continue doing what she loves even though everything was taken from her. I just
Mhm.
Yeah, it had me in love, it had me mad, it had me just like so sad and ready to cry, like hearing about the stories and the abuse that was happening, which
Mhm.
um we'll get into, because I felt like um I I seen a lot of similarities with this book with other books as well, where I it's not the same thing, but I see where it feels so Octavia to me, of in the patternist series, and the connection that they had, right? They had the slave necklace or whatever the collar,
Yeah.
and how that connected them as a group, similar to the patternist series, where it's like, oh, we're all connected through the mind and stuff like that. So there's so many similarities, even the religious beliefs, and the way that they had their, I don't want to call it, what did they call it, their compound, or the way that
Yeah.
it gave me very similar vibes to the patternist series. And so I was not the same thing, but it definitely gave me similar vibes. So hello Reed. Hey Bree, hey everyone. I should probably put our names up there. Oh, there they go. um
What before we start discussing the events chronologically in the book, how did you overall feel about this, and like what did you rate it?
Ooh, I have not rated it,
Okay.
but I like this. Like I said, I like this better than the first book. I believe I gave the book 4 stars. This is not, for me, this was not a 5-star book, but it was close.
Mhm.
Like it's definitely very close. I wish I dissected the book a lot more, when it comes to just everything that was happening. Um, I think I was such on an emotional roller coaster that I was
Yeah.
reading the book for what it was, but I feel like there's so much underlining there. And I was started making comparisons to like, oh, this reminds me to evangelicals, like this
Yeah.
Donald Trump. Like I was making so many connections. I was like emotionally traumatized sections of the book, and I found myself so mad, and I put it down for like 3 days. But I have not read anything yet. What did you read?
I gave it a 4. My first time I read it, I gave it a 4, and then this time I read it, I gave it a 4, but it's leaning on the 4.5. It's leaning. I don't know, I might change it after our discussion, it just depends. I liked it the second time a lot more because the first time everything was new to me. So I was emotional and I was like
Right.
crying at everything. Everything made me cry. Like every character pissed me off.
Yeah.
This time around, I was able to like, okay, on the surface, this is happening, but what is happening underneath? And I was able to examine that on my second read. And so I really enjoyed it. And um, yeah, both also both times like I couldn't stand Larkin. Like
Yeah.
I I thought to myself this time, well maybe I'll give her the benefit of the doubt, and I tried and I just couldn't. I just could not.
Not. Um, I'm sitting here looking at reviews to see. I wanted to see what the genre was. I know it's sci-fi. Okay, dystopia. Starts with fiction, religion. I emotionally, this book was a lot. And like I said, I
Mhm.
was making comparisons of like, how did Octavia back whenever this was published knew that we would face this in the 2000s?
Right.
This was published 1998.
1998, yeah.
Yeah. And like, how did she know we would deal with this?
And I know that she said the part where Jared is saying make America great again. I know she said she took that from Ronald Reagan in the 80s and the 90s when he was trying to rerun for president. And then not rerun, after he had stepped down from the presidency. And then Donald Trump took it from Ronald Reagan when he started running for office and started saying the phrase "Make America Great Again."
Yeah. And I think that came, I thought it came from like some sheriff in Florida.
It probably did.
Um,
I wouldn't even be surprised.
yeah. But I agree this the daughter was brainwashed so naturally. But at the same time, like when you because she was brainwashed by, Christians or whatever they want to call themselves, um, when you grow up thinking that you truly believe your faith is tied into who your parents and who the people that you raised, but beyond that, also the mother didn't raise her. And for
Right.
someone whose mother did not raise me, I don't I'm supposed to. Society says I'm supposed to love you. I'm supposed to choose you. I'm supposed to do this. I don't know who you are from a can of beans. And you have not proven to me that I should care that you're my mother, because you are not entitled to me as your child. Yes, you birthed me. Yes, you supposedly love me, and then you lost me. You come find me, but your brother did, and you trusted the word of your brother instead of going out there, instead of helping everybody else's family. You didn't come find me, even though you're telling me I'm the most important thing in the world. So the actions are not matching the word. So I kind of like understood where she was coming from, but also that religious aspect of like the brainwashing was like, oh, nah.
I couldn't understand how, because like Larkin says in the book that she found out later that Mark found her when she was 2 years old, but left her at
Mm-hmm.
in the care of that family. and then turned around and told Lauren he had no idea where she was.
Yeah.
And then when Larkin grew up, old enough to start asking about Lauren, he told her, both your mother and your father are dead. And then Lauren, it's like, okay, so Lauren was looking for Larkin. Did she ever give up? I don't think she ever gave up.
Right.
But I think that she did.
She trusted the brother too much, his word too much.
Yeah, she put. I just. Oh, I hate Mark.
Yeah, I hate Mark too. So it really, when Mark was there, right, and this is automatic spoilers because this is book 2. But when Mark was there, and then next thing you know, they're being taken over. I was like, Mark, come on, and you're
Right.
trying to persuade people about this Christian faith that you believe in, and you're preaching to them on why we should be practicing God. And next thing you know, they're being taken over. And then at the end, the epilogue, I made that same connection. I was like, hold on, how did you meet her when she was 2? Because that's when she was kind of taken, similar to that age, and you put her with a family. Oh,
And then he said he
so
didn't know. When she went to him and she told him, Christian America took over Acorn, they collared us, they enslaved us, and he was like, "No, you're lying." And she's like, "No, I'm not lying. This is what they did to us. Listen to me." And then he got mad and he hit her, and then he walked away. Like, not you hitting her after she's
right,
telling you what your people just did.
exactly.
And then, like you said, like, he found Larkin when she was 2 years old, and Larkin was taken when she was months old. She wasn't a year old. She wasn't yet a year old, I don't think, when she was taken.
Yeah,
So it
yeah,
and Lauren was in captive. She was captive. How they say about 15 months or something like
yeah.
that.
It was over a year for sure.
So if it was 15 to 17 months, by the time Lauren got out, this is either what happened. Lauren either meets Mark and asks him, "Hey, have you seen my daughter? This is what happened to me." He says, "No, I don't believe you," whatever. And then he runs away. He leaves. He tracks Larkin down, finds her, and then just
And
doesn't
then
say
moved.
anything
Yeah.
and just says nothing. Or he found Larkin beforehand, and when Lauren came to talk to him and say, "Hey, this is what happened. Have you seen my daughter?" He just straight lied to her face and said, "No, I don't know anything about it."
Well,
Either way,
he
he's
said
a
that
piece of shit.
a piece of shit.
Like,
Completely.
oh,
Um, and I mean, I completely agree with the timeline. It said Larkin said that he found her when she was 2 and moved her and put her with the family. So you moved her because she was taken well before then, right? So
right.
it's like you moved her. So you knew she was alive. You knew that. I mean, I don't know if he knew that the sister was still there, but you moved her, and it's not like you try to reconnect them and reunite them. CPS. It reminds me of CPS. The
Oh,
themes are similar. I agree. The themes are definitely similar. Okay, cool gamer. It was similar because OEB is a queen of building community. Period.
yeah. Yeah.
Period. Absolutely. 5 stars for me, mama. I love that. What else do you guys did you guys rate it? If you have not put, I don't know, I'm kind of behind, but if you have not, if you did rate it, what did you give it? I like the talents more than the sower. It's a 4 star. I'm stingy with ratings, however. Yeah, I give it a. I'll probably give it a 4 star. I'm so biased because all, yeah, Octavia books are 5 stars.
See, now I'm curious, D. I need to know which two Octavia Butler books don't get 5 stars from you.
Right, that's a good point. I just skipped over
Yeah.
that. Like
Now
she,
we need to know which ones and why. No spoilers though, just in case we haven't read them.
but at least, yeah. Let us know what the 2 books are. I want to know.
Yeah. Just that would be good because now I'm very curious. um
Since you read them all. Hey, Pat.
so she even said the words "Make America Great Again," and I hollered when I heard that. Yeah,
Yep.
I remember reading that and just being gagged. I was like, "Dude, what
So
with
sci-fi.
America?"
She looks like she planned the future. I promise.
Right. I just felt gagged. I was like, "Oh, girl." And I had especially read this book because I read some articles when the pandemic started, and it was like, people are turning to Octavia Butler's works during the pandemic to give them solace and to make them feel like they have a voice, etc. And I before the pandemic, around like 2019, is when I found out about Octavia Butler. So during the pandemic, I decided, well, let me look into her and read her works. And so reading all of her works, I was like, oh, I'm so happy I finally got introduced to her. This book in particular was very powerful, and I feel like there's still elements that I have missed.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, like
It was a ride for me, and I was reading it on a surface level. Like I feel like if I read it in depth and broke it down, then I would gather so much more, so
mm.
much more. She created a monster. She created that monster, right? She spoke that into existence or wrote it into existence because I feel like some of the actions of some of the characters reminded me so much of Trump, and I was just like, it reminded me of evangelicals and how they push their faith and just so much, and then you had Trump, and then you had this, and then you had that, and then like they taking kids, so CPS was right there, like
Right.
the criminal system locking people up, just like, oh yeah, it was exciting. It was strange how Larkin knew what's up. Yep, her inner dialogue shows us she knew what the truth but she still undecided or decided to ignore and go with the flow. Which
Yeah,
I agree.
because she says, like, well, Mark found me when I was 2 and told my mom, that he didn't know where I was. But I still love him so much because I just love him so much. And she just basically glossed over anything, any poor decision that Mark made because she loved him so much. But and also the whole like, oh, I was half in love with him. He was so handsome. Like, girl, that's your uncle. Can you not? Yeah, she said that. And I was
Which
just like,
is such an Octavia thing.
yes. I was like, okay, Larkin. That's
Okay,
another reason.
Doro.
Right. Like
Modern day Doro. Back the
uh,
fuck up.
another reason why I don't like your ass, Larkin. Ugh. Ugh. But so this book starts out leaving off where the first one ended, except it's about how many years in the future? It's been 6 years or something like
Hmm.
that. 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, 5 or 6 years because they
Yeah.
were married for about over 5 years. Yeah.
And they've been trying for a child. They've grown in numbers. It starts off though with an attack on a neighboring neighborhood named Dovetree,
Hmm.
and Dovetree gets attacked, and everybody gets killed except for the people who are able to get away, and so that's kind of like foreshadowing as to what's to come. They There's a whole situation with a, what did she call them, like a maggot or like a car, like she finds the big car that boy's family is in.
Hmm.
His mom is deceased, his dad is deceased, his sisters are traumatized, and then
Yeah.
his other sisters are missing. So there's this whole ordeal where she takes care of this young boy and tries to help him find his sisters. In trying to help him find his sister, she ends up finding her younger brother, Mark, who we thought had perished or died in Parable of the Sower. And Mark calls them heathens the moment he realizes who they are
Hmm.
and decides he wants to start preaching on his own.
God.
And nobody listens to him when he preaches, so he gets upset. Then
Yeah.
eventually he leaves. And then after he leaves, all hell breaks
All
loose.
hell breaks loose. Prior to hell breaking loose, right? They built such an amazing system where they had this camper van. Well, it kind of reminded me of a camper van. I don't the way that they were describing it, where this family was living in with these two younger girls. I believe there was two younger girls, and then the boy that was shot that they were taking care of. But they used that vehicle to be able to help transport goods, sell more items. They were doing really well for their land.
Mhm.
They everybody had a job. It didn't matter if you wanted to join or which again is what I absolutely loved about the story is like Earthseed, even though it was like this, it was all about change, right? We believe in God, but God is ever changing and whatnot. And change, change, change. That's what you hear a lot of it. But their system that they had, whether you believe in Earth or not, like contribute contribute to the economy here that we have this population that we have, whether it's teaching, whether it's the field and growing produce, whether it was taking care of the kids, contribute some way. And then if you believed in Earthseed, then you had a vote. Then you were able to. So they built this whole system, and I absolutely loved it. Loved it.
And
And
you know what was
I'm
just like,
having a good high, and then here goes all hell breaking loose.
it was, but
Mark.
what I thought was awesome, even though it didn't quite work, were the emergency drills of like, okay, well, I'm gonna set off the alarm
Yeah.
and tell everybody to run, and then you guys fade into the hills, and we're gonna use these thorn bushes around our property as like a thorn wall, like all these clever things, and you know, the whole, well, you guys are cultists and you guys worship trees, so dig up all the trees and dig up all the, you know, so they made them dig up all the trees, but that was their downfall. Is the Lauren tried to tell them, when the Christian America came, she tried to tell them not to make them dig up the trees because it would make the foundation unstable, and they didn't listen to her. And so when it rained, that's when that tree had the landslide and fell onto the cabin.
Hmm.
But they had a really good system. Like, they were farming. Like, I don't know if they had animals, or I don't think they had animals, but I know for a fact that they were farming, and they had like emergency drills. I really liked that part of the world building. It was really clever.
It was. I agree. They did a really good job at what little they had.
Hmm.
While the earth was on fire, that we know from book one, you can't call on cops, even though that there's a political system involved. They're not really there. Um, they still listen to the radio so they could get news and read the newspaper, which they kept mentioning. Well, they mentioned a few times how like even Alaska was trying to be its own country, and not a part of the United States, which I definitely understand because of the ghetto-ness of this United States. But um, they were doing so well with what little they had, and I was on a like cruise with okay, we're rebuilding the world, we're getting it together, the population is growing. What we gonna do next? Yeah, here goes Octavia. Boom.
Yeah.
Oh, you're having fun now? Crash.
Yeah.
Crash. Okay. At like Jira always says, who hurt Octavia? we get to the point where they emotionally, yeah, you're the roller coaster starts for sure.
It was, oh, they get like collared, enslaved. They get separated. The men and women get separated. The children under a certain age are all taken. They start off by getting gassed.
Mm,
Fledgling Animago. Okay, I I didn't give Fledgling 5 stars either, but I'm gonna. We're about to read it,
yeah,
so
we're reading it this month.
I'm getting a new rating for it probably.
Yeah.
But
Um, is not bad. Yeah, it's the people who are brainwashed, purpose versus power. I
Mhm.
completely agree. The faith, it's not the faith. It's not right. We know it's not the Christian Bible. The Bible is what it is. It's how people twist them, how they use the words to um commit any heinous acts on that Bible, right? On the on the faith. So it's not, like you said, it's not the faith. It's, and
Yeah.
so, and within, like, once all hell breaks loose, right? The men are taken and separated from the women because they're not legally married in the faith of God. The kids are taken. Um, the way that the way that they're treated, and the collars on the neck. I am just, oh, I was so disgusted. I really was. Um, Heartbroken to have such a wonderful community, and then next thing you know, they're taken over, and they are exactly what they were designed to prevent. Right? They went through all of these steps to try to prevent that, and how they were using the faith to, like, our word, and just, oh, I mean, just strip a person humanity. And then they they weren't there was only a couple of people that were there full time, and so they would go off to their family after committing such heinous acts during the day, and, like, go and leave and go home. Like, who are you? Uh-uh.
Ah, like when Lauren goes to that Christian America Center and she sees Mark talking. This is
Mm-hmm.
after he leaves. After he left, she goes back and then gets the note from the security guard, and the guy's like, "Hey, this is a note from Mark." She looks and then she sees the security guard and she's like, "Oh, I think the character's name was Adela Ortiz, but he was assaulting her and she was pregnant with his baby and she had saw him working at the new Christian America building. So like he was just doing committing heinous crimes, doing whatever the hell he wanted, and then going home at the end of the night and then Camp Christian is burned down and it's gone now. Acorn is gone now. Fine, I'll just go work at Camp Christian America. No one cares that I committed these heinous crimes. Like, oh my god, it was so I hate I my pet peeve in stories is when characters have things taken from them or stolen from them that's rightfully theirs. And so like Acorn was rightfully theirs, like Bankole
They
owned
own
that
the land,
land.
paid
Yeah.
taxes on the land,
Yeah.
built the land up, had a whole business going, and everybody had a job. Everybody, it really was a community. And they did a really, really good job. And like I said, they were still paying taxes. Like, he owned it. And for it to be taken, they burned every book. I mean, like, all of those things seem sensible to me. Books, school, teaching, family. It seems like that's what you're supposed to do.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you're supposed to do that. So yeah, devastated. Devastated. Um, hey Bree, this comment. Yep, if you read it yesterday, you would have been ready. But it was a truck. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know why I kept thinking like it was, in my mind, the way I know that it was a truck because there was like guns and all types of things, but in my mind, I just kept picturing a camper van. I really did. Um, or one of those commercial vans. I don't know. I, I'd be making stuff up, guys. I really thought it was interesting how big Acorn became in the message of Earthseed. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It was a whole community of jobs, roles, positions, books. She published the book,
Yeah.
taxes, all of it. They even had like um a system of like burying their dead and
Mhm.
honoring their dead. And it wasn't even just an earth seed. They implemented whatever faith you were, because like I said earlier, you didn't have to believe in earth seed. You just had to contribute if you were
Yeah.
there. So oh god, it was brilliantly done. She likes how they had
Caches
this.
everywhere. Yeah. Yeah, like where Camp Christian burned the deed
Oh yeah, yeah,
to the land, and then she said it's okay because we have a cache somewhere else with the copy or with the
right.
original deed, and so they had caches placed everywhere around the area for different people to get different resources from, just in case something happened to Acorn.
I
And I
remember
think,
that they set that up.
yeah, that was really smart too. I really like that. That was clever.
Yeah, that was
Like
so clever.
Lauren and Bencole and Zara and Natividad, like they all thought up of good ass ideas and they made a really good community. And it's just so
They
tragic
all had
to,
a vote.
yeah. It is so tragic to read it all like fall apart. Like they get captured, they get enslaved, they get collared, you
Yeah,
know, and then finally there's a big storm, there's a landslide, the cabin that controls the colors with the machine that controls colors gets destroyed, and they're able to kill off the rest of their enslavers and escape.
yeah,
At that point, you know, Lauren's only thought is, I need to find my daughter and help everyone else find their kids. And I thought it was sad. What's his name? Harry? Is his name Harry? Her friend? Harry Balter?
I don't remember.
The
I
one
read
from,
like at
he
least
married
5,000 pages since.
he married Zara. He married Zara, and he was at the end of the,
Mhm.
yeah, Harry. He was at the end of the book. He was Lauren's age at the end of the book, and so he couldn't make the trip to the stars. But you know, they were Lauren was saying after they died they would take the trip. Um, damn, this
Yeah,
book was just,
that ending was amazing.
Harry never found his kids. His kids that he had with Zara. You know, Zara ended up, she was the one who died early on from the smoke
Yeah,
when they got gassed. Um, Zara died, and then Harry went to go find his kids, never found them, and then ended up either, I think it said, adopting kids and then having more kids later in life.
yeah,
But like Natividad and Travis, I don't think they found their kids either. So I think, like, I don't think anybody really found their kids, and the only one that it said found their kid afterwards was Lauren, and that was well after Larkin was in her 30s.
yeah.
Just damn.
Imagine, imagine, Lord. I remember when they were captured, reading about like how do we get rid of these things? How did they work? And all of those things. One of them, I don't remember the characters again. I'm so bad about remembering this, but like slept with one of the captive people. I don't know. He slept with someone, and then killed them, and then killed another one
Mhm.
for the sake of her kids. But then she ended up, unaliving herself. And I just, ugh. Again, emotional freaking roller coaster, and
Right.
the amount of brainwashing that one person, not one person, but the amount of brainwashing that a faith, or not even a faith, you can't even blame it on a faith, that people do because their way is the only way, right? It's just like their way is the only way. This is right. And this is how we interpret it. So it has to be. And it's like, no, absolutely not. I have one of my old supervisor, we're really good friends. She used to be an evangelical, and the stories that she would tell me was like terrifying. Oh God. Like, I mean, I thought growing up Baptist, like going to church 4 days a week, I thought that was bad. All day Sunday, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I thought that was bad, but it's it really gave me evangelical vibes. Like, this is how it has to be, otherwise you're a sinner and you can't believe in anything else. This was a lot. It was a lot with, and then taking the kids again and just like, oh, yeah, I don't
I
know.
I remember highlighting and then like, you can highlight on the Kindle and then leave a note. I
Hmm.
was cussing Larkin out because she was like, the people who were adopting the children from quote unquote heathens were not perverts and they were not, evil people trying to harm. And I was like, weren't you just talking about how your adopted father will not keep his hands off of you?
Right.
What are you talking? What in the world? Like,
Larson pissed me off.
brain washed. And she just sat like, how many times did that character say, he put his hands on me again and it was
Yeah.
gross and I wanted to run away and I was disgusted. Can't he keep his hands after me? And then there's one part near the end of the book where she even says, when she was getting older and she was about to turn 18, she figured I might as well sleep with Casey because that'll get him off my back. That's what he wants anyways. And then she's like, "Oh, well, I'm almost 18. I'm almost out of here, so I'll just hold on till I turn 18." But
Yeah.
she literally has this mentality of like, "Well, he's bothering me and I might as well just let him do it because, he's harassing me." And then she turns around and then says, "The people who adopted the children did not want, to be creeps." Girl, if you don't take that somewhere
Right.
else,
Somewhere.
take it
I
somewhere
forgot
else.
all about that scene. Oh my god.
Yes. Oh my
Just, I
goodness.
remember being extremely pissed the whole time.
Yeah.
Especially when she was defending Mark. But yeah, absolutely. Like that, you are sick in the head.
Like, what is wrong with, and she just defending Christian America as hard as she can
Yep.
because her defending Christian America by extension is her protecting her Uncle Mark and defending
Mhm.
her Uncle Mark. And the
And
only
that's
person
what it all boils down to.
yeah, that's all she cares. The only person she cares about is Uncle Mark. And she could care less about her mother Lauren.
Yep.
Even and then and like Jessica said in the comments, like, how could Larkin have read all of her mother's journals and then come to the conclusion of
Yes.
my mother did not care for me?
Mm-hmm.
Like, my mother didn't care for me. The only person on this planet who cares for me is Uncle Mark. Your mother just wrote all these journals about how she was trying to get back to you.
Right.
And I think it's very at the very beginning of the book, she Octavia writes it as if Larkin is jealous, right? Because she says the lines of like, "Oh, well, my mother's first child, my
Right.
mother's most important child," and she'll say things like that, indicating that she's jealous of Earthseed.
Earthseed being the child.
Yeah, and it's
I think she said that at the end too.
like and then I guess
How did you
because
come away with that? Like that is the dumbest thing ever.
like your mom loved you and she was looking for you, and even though your Uncle Mark lied to her and told her, "Hey, I can't help you," your mother continued and persisted to look for you. How could you come to the conclusion that she didn't care and that the only person who cares about you is Mark? And then, after she called Mark and told Mark, "I went to go see Lauren. I went to go see my mother, Lauren." Mark, oh no, she called and said, "I think is Lauren Olamina my mother?" And then Mark said, "Well, don't do anything. Don't worry about it. I'm going to come home and we're going to discuss it." So he came home to discuss it and told her the truth and said, "Yes, that's your mother." Then it said he went to Lauren to go speak to Lauren, but Lauren's people wouldn't let him talk to her, and he was distraught by that and he was crying and he was upset. Oh, so you want your cake and you want to eat it too? You want to steal her daughter and you want her to also still be your friend? Like,
Yeah,
you can't steal her daughter and then expect her to welcome you into her arms.
I completely agree. I just this is why I don't like new age books because of the immaturity of young adults. I
Yes.
think this is a good representation of that where it's like I know actions mean everything, but you're so young, you're not going to see the actions, right? And I know at the beginning of live, we were talking about like, you know, she was trying to find her. I didn't say that she wasn't, but like, you know, you were out there still doing Earthseed stuff. I don't know. I don't know. Did she prioritize it? I don't know. I'm not saying that she wasn't looking, but she was definitely traveling. Um, and you know, you put a lot of faith in your brother to help you with that task, and that wasn't the right idea. But for Larkin, it's like, again, that immaturity of, you read all of the journals, you actually got to meet her, and then you're still standing up for this uncle who is such a shitty person. Your thoughts and emotions are all over the place, and you can't grasp the true understanding. You're so young and so immature, which is why I hate new age books. That's why I hate it. 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 I know that, you know, at some point we were all that child where we were like, well, you know, well, actions, you know, da 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 da. You did this, but you said you're saying something else, and it's like, you don't know the struggle. Like, shut up. But yeah, um, it just, oh god, Larkin, just the whole book, and even at the end of the book, she does also mention Earthseed being her first child, in some ways her only child, and I would definitely agree with that, because Earthseed was a ideal from when she was a teenager. Like, this is young teen, preteen. I think she said it as young as like 12 or 13 that she thought of the idea, and she was telling Mark when he first came to the community, to Acorn, about, you know, she didn't want to make her father upset because they have certain beliefs of preaching and whatnot. But this idea was something that has been, she's been growing for a very long time. And yes, that is technically her child, her baby that she is raising. And it's not like it's a bad idea. It is kind of freeing, right? This whole idea of Earthseed. And everything is change, everything is evolution. Like, we're always changing, we're always growing, da 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 da. God, you know, we believe in this God, but God is changing and whatnot. I mean, there's a lot more to Earthseed, but it's not like it's a bad idea. It sounds very reasonable. So yeah, I just yeah, Larkin just pissed me off. The whole book, because you'll never understand. You're brainwashed. You were told to do, you don't think a certain way. You were told to do certain things, and you went with the flow with a lot of things, instead of like growing up. Now that you know that you have an uncle, instead of growing up like, I'm gonna find family, I'm gonna find my other, you know, Kens, and you know, find Acorn, figure out what my mother's goal was. Like, my mother created this. My biological mother created something that was bigger than me. I want to know more. Instead of thinking that, you were an asshole the whole time.
Yeah.
So, and you treated
Just
her like she was some cultish who wasn't capable of taking care of her child, rather than, and that's the vibes that I got. Instead of like learning about what it is, you just like deemed it a cult, and it was such a bad thing and horrible, and this is why she can't take care of her kids and whatever. Yeah, she is a bitch, a bitch.
Larkin really. Wow, like I'm trying to think of characters that pissed me off more in a book.
Mm-hmm.
And like I don't know how many of you listen to the audiobook. I don't read things on my own with my eyes. I have like a reading thing issue disability. So I listen to audiobooks and Larkin's voice was just
I
the
know.
voice it was very like a high pitched. She sounded like she was trying to sound like a fairy or an elf or something. But with her snarky lines and her snarky like little comments, it was just the most annoying. Like the voice actress nailed it. She
Mhm.
nailed being annoying and obnoxious and just
Yeah, and I think that was the intent of us not to, right? Like, we're not supposed to like every character. You're supposed
Yeah.
to hate her.
Yeah.
And that ties it to the emotional roller coaster that Octavia feels the need to put us through.
Yes.
Um, but
Didn't Mark also have a
yes,
collar on at some point? He was enslaved, but I can't remember by who. Was that guy in Georgetown, was his name Ripper or Bulldog, or
I don't
he
know.
was the guy who enslaved um
Mark
yeah, and had him
Mark
enslaved. I
was
can't
enslaved, and he
yeah.
had two different owners because when he finally came to Acorn, he was telling his sister about the experience in the
Yeah.
colony. So he did have two different owners at some point, slave owners. God,
Yeah. She found him in Georgetown, and it had
yeah,
been like it had been 6 years.
yeah. I think he was like what 14 or something like that.
Yeah, he was
Mhm.
14. He I think he was 13 because the older brother Keith, when he died, he was 14, I think.
Mhm.
Keith was 14 when he died. So I think the younger brother, Mark, at the time was 13. So
Yeah,
he would have been 19.
and he was telling his story and all of the things that he went through. I was disgusted.
Just
Oh,
and and then like, okay, if you went through all that and you were collared, why in the world, when Lauren tells you that she was collared and went through all that, would you hit her? Because you're upset that you didn't want it to be Christian America that did that to her.
right. And it's not like right. So if she's telling you, it's not like you haven't experienced those things.
Right.
So why would she be lying when you're experiencing it? I didn't get anything. He gave me bad vibes from the moment she picked him up. And I believe she did buy.
She did. She bought him. Yeah.
And so and then that's why I was like, the math ain't mathing. Because the moment she bought him, he was there, he left, things started to go downhill. He was just messy from the time she was there. And I feel like he learned some of learned the area enough and was like, this is how you get in, this is how you capture them, this is how you do, and like all that, set them up for real. And then to do all of that to your family, not that that means anything, but just good individuals, to do that to good individuals that have taken care of you. I don't.
He had to know because he found Larkin when she was 2. He had to know.
I have a feeling that he I don't know. I went in it the moment they got caught. I was like, he set him up. He set him up. We'll never know. We'll
Right.
never know. But it was too much of a coincidence. And then the whole thing with Larkin, I was like, and keeping it away from his sister, not telling her where she was. I was like, this. He set him up. He set him up.
Because it wasn't even like it was a different group that came out of nowhere. It was Christian America that came to get them. And
Mm-hmm.
he was preaching for Christian America. I mean, he was telling them, you're a heathen. Earth seed is a heathen. Earth seed is a
Yeah.
heathen. This is heathenism stuff. I'm trying to preach to you to save your lives. And when they wouldn't listen, he left. And then as soon as he left.
Right. Yeah, he was on the collar and slave. Lord saved his ass, and that was the worst mistake she made. Right. Right. She accepted, and I definitely agree with that. She was very naive in not vetting people
Yeah.
properly. You made yourself vulnerable the moment you started taking any and every body. And then to allow someone to preach and diminish the things that you have instilled in people with Earthseed, the values and the beliefs. You let them into your compound, you let them into your community. So you got what you got,
Right.
because you knew what was out there and you knew who was doing it. So you just got what you got.
Ah,
Unfortunately, I just
just terrible.
I associated every bad thing that happened to Lauren because of Mark.
Yeah,
I associated every bad thing. It was too coincidental. The whole hiding the child and lying to the sister about the child. Um, it was too coincidental. Like you knew where she was at such a young age. She's begging you to help her find her daughter. You knew where she was. Um, you cared about no one but yourself and your faith. And again, that projection of like faith onto people and belief systems onto people. Um, Even when they were captured and had the slave collars on, they were forced to say certain sayings and do certain Christian things, um, and they went along with it because they wanted to stay alive. But it's just like that projection, and you took from your own family and split up your own family because of what you believe. I don't like that at all.
no.
I don't like that at all. Like that is the most. If a family member wants to be an atheist and one wants to be a Buddhist, what's that got to do with us staying together and united?
Right.
What that got to do with anything?
Mm, mm, mm.
That ain't got nothing to do with anything. Let's treat each other with respect. Let's treat each other with love and care, and let's take care of each other. It don't matter about your beliefs and your beliefs. The bills got to be paid. Kids got to be taken care of, and let's keep it moving. So I just oof. Every bad thing that happened in that book. Not every bad thing. Everything that happened once they were captured is because of his
Yeah. Like Bankole dying. I cried the first time I
that
read that. I was so, and then when she said like she was shocked into submission trying to pickaxe to death her captor after she saw that Bankole was dead. And I was like, I wish she would have. But if she would have, they would have killed her.
mm-hmm.
So I'm glad she didn't, but that tore me up. I was like, no way. Him and Zara didn't even get a chance. They were already dead.
Also messed up and set them up, which is why he's on my list. Look, look, I definitely one thing that I want to start doing. I'm really bad at like keeping track of characters and their names and who they are. But I do want to make a hit list of characters. I want to make a hit list of characters, Mark being in the top 3. I don't
Yeah.
know what the other 2 are, but I want to start making a hit list.
Because Mark is just
God, just
trash.
terrible. Terrible. She did that because God is change, and she thought that the change of God would change them.
Yeah, that's true.
I agree, but you have to vet. In the moment, again, we know in today's society, when somebody shows you their true colors, believe them the first time. And the moment he said that he wanted to start preaching to him, baby, you out the door. You talk
Yeah.
to it or you free. Goodbye. I'm not gonna let you learn our ways. I'm not gonna let you know our schedule or what we do. I don't need you to know. Nope, nope, nope. Goodbye. Out the door. Family or not, I paid for your freedom. Deuces. Get out. Because you have a whole community to protect. That one person fucked it up for everybody. It's perverse. Period. Completely agree. I got real angry right there.
He fucked it up for everyone.
Yeah, what you do with your freedom. I agree. Hubby got on my last nerve. He kept calling Lauren's name, but didn't mind not one bit of personality traits. Yeah, he was trying to get her into her pants. Yeah,
Like he was calling her all kinds of immature and saying she wasn't ready, and
yeah.
all you thinking about is Earthseed, and you're not thinking about our family, and da 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 da. Complain, complain, complain. Okay, Bankole, but you weren't saying that when we were in bed. Like
Hello.
you weren't complaining before.
And as
Like
much as he was trying to, I mean, what did he really think that was going to happen? He was really trying to move into a bigger city to have more opportunities for their child, which in hindsight, when you are pregnant and you are having a baby, your first child on the way, like we see all those videos of like new mothers buying all of these things that they don't need and wanting the best of the best of the best. And we I get that. I get that. You want the best of the best of the best for your child. But what were you gonna do with your land? What were you gonna do with the other 60 people? What were you gonna do with what was gonna happen? You're you're in a little compound that is practically safe for you guys with the people that you had. What was you just wanted to leave that?
And he wanted to go live with strangers.
Yeah,
Like, these 60 people at the compound versus you're going to go live with a bunch of strangers. And even Lauren at one point was like, what happens if we move to the compound and then something goes wrong and the police come looking and they throw us under the bus?
yeah.
They throw us under the bus and they are looking for a scapegoat. We're going to be the next people to be chosen as a scapegoat because we're new here.
Exactly. And it's not like you're going to be preaching the word of God, and following their belief system. So because you're not following their belief system, it's not even that you're saying it, right? Your actions. Of course they're gonna find you suspicious, and then they're gonna capture you. The caller's gonna be on a lot sooner.
Yeah.
I didn't understand where he was going with that, but he would point out so much of, you're young, you're immature, and he was planning his death, which I understand. Like, you want more for your family when you passed. You'll have XYZ, you'll have a career, you'll have this. I get it. I get it as a mother. Like, we're thinking about the future. We're not as a parent. We're thinking about the future. We're thinking about like how can this person grow up and have more opportunities, because that's what it was about. More opportunities, not a community, not safe with people around that will love you for what you have. Like, he wasn't thinking about that. He was mad, freaking annoying. And you didn't mind, like you said, you didn't mind sleeping with my young ass.
He
right?
didn't.
Like, at all.
Like, just complain. I know you're about to be 60, but stop complaining. Like,
right. Because I know that. Whereas I think it was said he was almost, there was a similar age between him and her dad.
And her father, yeah.
Yeah. And we know. Okay.
Right.
Us women, we know. You ain't got to tell us.
I just don't know what he was going with that. Like,
he was mad annoying though.
He he knew how young she was.
Right. And knew the plan. So you unveiled the land. You helped build this. You did that. Like, we did this together. And now we have a child on the way. Let's just be happy for the child. And then we have a decent place to raise our child. That is outside of with all that chaos and killing and guns and all that our kid doesn't have to worry about, or didn't have to worry about. But yeah, a year younger than her dad. Yep. See, I don't remember, honestly. I just remember there was a similarity with that. So the next book, look at Octavia, traumatized.
Yes.
She is stunning. She is beautiful.
Yes.
Oh, that's such a great picture.
It is.
That's such a great picture. But Fledgling is this month. This is the book. Any warnings going into it? I read, or somebody made a comment in one of the sprints saying like there was an age issue.
Yeah.
It didn't age well or something like that. I don't know.
There is, for trigger warnings, there's age gap relationships. So minor, like somebody who is perceived to look like 11 years old in sexual relationships with adults.
Perceived to be 11? Or actually?
Yes, perceived to be 11.
Okay.
But not actually 11.
Okay, that makes a big difference.
Yeah.
That makes a big difference, man. Mama said that she's mature but never had a child, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you never have a child. Like you're new at so much. You're learning how. There's no, like they always say, there is no handbook to parenting. You
Mm-mm.
learn as you go, um, and you try to figure it out. But yes, vampires. I absolutely love vampires. I know this wasn't a 5 star for you, and D, but vampires are definitely my thing. Like I'm obsessed with vampires. Um, so I cannot wait to read this. And the live discussion for this will be on the 14th of September. Um, I don't think I have anything that week, so I will definitely have it. Hopefully, I won't have to reschedule anymore moving forward. I do apologize. I gave Maya a last minute notice, and I was like, I gotta do some bullshit. My daughter was supposed to start school on Monday, but then she couldn't. And these doctor's notes, and specialists, and all the different notarize this and notarize that. It's been a lot. So we'll discuss it on the 14th. But Fledgling is the book for this month. We're
Yep.
getting close to the end,
Yep.
and we saved Kindred for last.
Yes.
So we can end the year with tears.
With tears
Oh,
and
God.
shock.
And traumatized,
Yes.
right in the middle of depression season. Yeah, never. I will never do that again. Because I did not think about that. I was like, seasonal depression.
Oh
Perfect time to read
no.
Kindred. But yes, this is the book for next month. I'm so excited to get into it. Like I said, I am obsessed with vampires. I love all things vampires. Most things vampires. They're
Yeah.
very problematic supernatural creatures, but there's so much about them and complexity, and I love the whole aspect of just blood and gore and killing and so much.
It was
I
an
don't know.
enjoyable read. I hope
You
that
do
you
not like
like.
it.
I hope that you like Fledging because it was an enjoyable read. Like as far as vampires go.
What did you not like about it? In a
Um.
great way.
The with no spoilers, just that age gap thing that I mentioned really bothered me, and I'm pretty sure if I remember, that's why I took so many stars off. Um. But as far as the message goes, like towards the end of the book, the message that she underlines what the book is supposed to be about, I liked it a lot. I like that message. I think it's just the age gap that really bothered me.
Gotcha.
Excuse me. It's not just one person, but it's like, I look like I'm 11, but I'm sleeping with this adult and that adult and that adult. And so it's like,
But and just to be devil's advocate, this is not an uncommon thing with Octavia.
it's not.
From book one of Wild Seed, from the Patternist series,
Right.
Parable or the Earthsea series. Like there are, things that are being done to minors, not that young,
Yeah.
but you know,
And I think, there's a perspective of like, not all characters are supposed to be liked.
yeah,
And not all scenarios and situations are supposed to be liked or appreciated. Like maybe we're not supposed to like that in the book, and that
right.
was supposed to be like,
That's the horror aspect. Is it horror?
yeah,
Let me check.
it is. I think it's horror, sci-fi horror.
Mm, that makes sense because yep, it is a fantasy horror vampire science fiction paranormal. Yeah,
Yeah.
that would definitely do it. That would definitely that creepy, eerie, disgusting. That will definitely put it in the horror
Yep.
category. I'm really excited, and I'm knowing that helps me go into the book like, okay, I'm not supposed to like this. This is supposed to make me feel so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And that's the horror aspect. That is the horror aspect that is
Yep.
supposed to make you feel. And I might put it down, but I can't wait to talk about it. Now, this book I might actually write in.
It's
Definitely,
so pretty.
it's gorgeous. I
It's
don't
so
want to mess it
pretty.
up, but I might. I don't want to mess it up.
If you need to highlight it, then and you need to put your sticky notes in it, go ahead.
It depends on the vibes I get within the first couple of pages that I
Like,
decide if I'm gonna write in it or not.
does that's part of the fun, being able to annotate the book you're reading and leaving notes for yourself.
Mhm. I completely agree.
I don't like doing it in person just because like my handwriting can sometimes look like chicken scratches.
Same.
So I like highlight everything on my little Kindle app and then like type in my little comments. Like half my
How do you type
highlights
in
for
comments on your Kendo app, or you type in
oh,
comments on your Goodreads?
I have it goes to my Goodreads. So like I open the Kindle app on my desktop, my PC,
Yeah,
and then when I highlight it, it goes
it's
straight
good.
to my
It's Goodreads,
Goodreads.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
And then you make a comment off of that.
Yep, I can make a
Okay,
comment. I can make a comment in the Kindle app, and from the Kindle app, it'll put it on Goodreads.
gotcha. Okay, I'm
Yeah,
like, okay, now I understand. I just got a Kindle, so I'm like learning all the fanciness.
yeah. You can highlight it, and you can like type your little notes. It'll save them for you, and notes by default show up as private. So if
Mhm.
you want them to be public, you have to actually set them to public.
Oh, gotcha.
That's why I was like, man, everyone's gonna be judging me because they're gonna see me cussing out. They're gonna see me cussing out Larkin
Right.
and cussing out Mark.
I love that. She also likes to push the envelope on very taboo things. Doro. Exactly.
Yes.
And that's what I'm loving about Octavia. And I get why Tanana Redu mentions Octavia a lot within her work, like going beyond. When I read Tanana Redu and I read The Good House, I was from chapter one so uncomfortable. And I was just like, I always associated horror as like creepy, very eerie, just jump in your face. Like I don't know, not not the
Like a jump
uncomfortableness.
scare?
Yeah, I always thought it was like some type of crazy monster or whatever. I thought horror was what I see in movies. I
Yeah.
never thought of horror like that uncomfortable, emotional aspect of horror until I started reading None of You Do, and I was like, that was supposed to make me feel like that. Well, it hit the mark. It definitely hit the mark. And so, um, pushing the envelope and going into a genre, one, I need to prepare myself for that. So now that I know, okay, it's horror, there is an age gap. Now I'm ready for it.
Yeah.
Now I'm mentally prepared for that. But I think one thing with Octavia that we've learned from all of her books, right? Like the patternist, um, that had the whole thing with the girls. We had Doro with cousins and brothers sleeping with all types of family members sleeping together, intertwining. Very uncomfortable, pushing the envelope. This is not normal
Right.
behavior, and yeah, I'm learning that slowly as someone who is jumping into um, something that I'm not used to, and more sci-fi and more horror. Like I'm used to horror, this like creepy, something's out to get you type of thing, like not emotionally damaging.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's what you're describing with the age gap of, even though we know this person is not a preteen, they are look, sound, act probably, and it is so uncomfortable listening to
Yeah.
a child perceived to be child do XYZ. So yeah, that's how I felt about, for those who read the Inheritance trilogy,
That's
about,
what I'm reading right now.
oh, my favorite series ever.
Wait. The Inheritance really by N.K. Jemisin?
Yeah, by N.K. Jemisin.
Okay, no. I'm
Okay.
reading The Broken Earth. The Broken Earth is what I'm
Okay.
eating.
Yeah.
And
The
but I do
Inheritance
have
trilogy.
Inheritance.
It's so good. But Sia is not a child, perceives to be a child, in the body of a child, acts like a child, talks like a child, does everything like a child, but he too, just to satisfy the other gods, have relations with them from time to time, not often, but does. And I kind of felt uncomfortable with someone I know is ancient, very old, but he has always been a child in the mind of everyone, and it was such an uncomfortable thing, um,
Yeah.
reading about. But we're ready for it. We're ready for it. It's gonna
Hmm.
happen. Be prepared. I know a lot of you guys do not read horror, but you read Doro, so
Yeah, that was horror.
you can do it. You can do it. It can be done. So that again, discussion will be on the 14th, and then next month we jump into another series. So fun. All right, guys, but that is it. Do you have any last comments? I gotta go. My daughter's been sitting detoxing her locks for over an hour, so I need to probably go get her. So do you have anything else?
No,
No, nothing else.
nope, just a powerful book that won awards, it deserved it, and I'm glad we were able to talk about it. That's all.
Yeah, I'm glad. I'm so glad we're doing this together.
Me
This has
too.
been so fun and so emotionally uh, such a emotional roller coaster. I love it. I hate it. I love it. I hate it. You're going through so many emotions within all of these books, and Octavia just gets you every time. And
Yeah.
so they are not, even though these are not necessarily 5-star books for some people, I think you're still having a good time with the book nonetheless.
Yeah.
None of these books have been a DNF. None of these books have been just, I absolutely hated it. Blood Child was also, y'all read Blood Child. Y'all can read Blood Child.
Yeah, that's
That was,
true.
oh, like, mm,
It was
yes.
the when she said in the audiobook undulate when she
On,
undulated the
oh,
eggs. Ugh.
gross. God, and you would say it again. You would say that again.
It was terrible.
Yes. I think that one took stride because it's made it very clear he's an adult and he has chosen to be a child in the form he lives in. Yes, absolutely. So I don't know why this child perceives to be 11. We will find out.
Yeah.
Maybe they didn't have a choice. I don't know. Just like Sia, chose to be a child and did not want to, change. We will find out. Vampires usually don't age, so we'll see if Octavia ages people and they grow and they get old and whatever the case may be. But we will definitely find out. Miss that live. Oh
It
yeah,
was scary.
it was definitely scary. It was a if you don't have a book to read for Black Weenathon, that is
Yeah.
one that you can read.
Blood
Blood
child, yeah.
Child by Octavia. I'm telling you, it fits the category. You
Yeah.
can definitely do it. So we will see you guys next month. I will be having sprints. There's no sprints tonight on Brandie's channel because she's out of town. But I'll have sprints on Sunday. So I will see you guys then. Have a good weekend. Have a good night. And yeah, bye everyone.
Bye everyone.